Odyssey, an epic poem written by Homer and later converted into a graphic novel by Gareth Hinds, is a story about a man named Odysseus who struggles to find his way back home after being cast aside after the Trojan War. The story also has several motifs which are like patterns to the story. On his way, he encounters obstacles such as a huge mean man with one eye who likes sheep, green old dude from the sea, dead people, six-headed creature who somehow isn't fast enough to eat all the men on the ship, Little Mermaids 2.0, witch who likes pigs, his crew who likes to cause trouble because they are idiots, a lonely lady on her island who is desperate for company, and men who barge into the palace, eating all the food and wanting to marry the wife of a man who's been missing for almost 20 years. The beginning starts with the gods and goddesses discussing what to do with Odysseus after he has been casted away. Take note that throughout the whole story, Odysseus is on a hero's journey, one of the motifs. They all agree on letting him go, so Athena disguises herself to go and talk to Telemachus, Odysseus' son. They meet, and it is revealed that after Odysseus has gone missing, suitors from all over Ithaca have come to the palace to win the queen's heart, Penelope, Odysseus' wife. To name a couple of suitors, there's jerk-faced leader in orange, dude with no shirt, and dude in tan clothes who should have taken Odysseus' advice about leaving the suitors. Telemachus then travels to faraway lands to find information about his father and where he is. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Odysseus is stuck on Calypso's island and is kept there as her slave. But then Hermes comes with some bad news for Calypso. She has to let go of Odysseus. So she tells him to build a boat, and he sails off only to meet with Poseidon, who sweeps him off course again. He wakes up on another island, and the daughter of the king escorts him to her father's palace. Odysseus then tells the king and queen about what happened before he ended up here. Odysseus says that after the Trojan War, the crew sails to Mykonos and attacks the town. But then, "You destroyed our city, man! What the heck is wrong with you?" "We gonna attack you now." So they skedaddle and end up on another island where they found a cave that's totally not suspicious, and they find the owner of the cave, the Cyclops. "Whoa, there are these tiny men here." "Huh? I'm gonna eat them." "What's your name?" "Nobody." "Oh, okay man, that's totally not an odd name at all." Then they stab him with the stick when he's asleep and were successful with their escape because the Cyclops said that nobody was killing him to the other Cyclops. Then Odysseus' hubris gets to him and he says, "I, Odysseus, stabbed the Cyclops." So now the Cyclops told his dad Poseidon, and that's why Poseidon has some beef with Odysseus. Then they end up on another island where the witch named Kirky turns the men into pigs. Odysseus is given a special potion by Hermes and tells Kirky to let them go. So Kirky is like, "Alright man," and she tells him where to go next. The men sail onwards and go to the land of the dead. He sacrifices a lamb and goat, and their blood attracts the dead. This also represents a motif, which is respect for guests, the gods, and the dead. Tiresias, a prophet, tells Odysseus how to get home. "Don't touch the cattle of Helios. If he does, then he'll suffer more but return home unrecognized, and his home would be filled with enemies. If he doesn't, then he's all good." Another motif, fate, destiny, and prophecy. Then he has to make sacrifices to all the gods, especially Poseidon, because they had some beef between them, so he'll be left in peace. Odysseus also sees his mom, and his mom tells him that Penelope and Telemachus are doing okay, but the suitors are in the palace. His dad is somewhere on a hill, and she herself committed suicide because Odysseus hasn't gone. Agamemnon also goes up to Odysseus and says that he shouldn't reveal his true self when he gets home until he has taken care of the suitors. Then for some weird reason, all the dead people are chasing after the men, and then they sail onwards. They then encounter Little Mermaids 2.0 in Scylla, but make it out alright. But then the stupid men eat up Helios' cattle, and then the sea goes all Super Saiyan, and they all get blown off course where Odysseus ends up on Calypso's island. After telling his story, the king and his men drop off Odysseus back at Ithaca. Athena then gives him a disguise as a beggar and visits Eumaeus, an old friend. He claims that Odysseus is coming home, but Eumaeus says that he doesn't believe him because other beggars have claimed that just to earn a prize from Penelope. Then Odysseus somehow on the spot comes up with his own story of where he came from as a beggar, and Telemachus makes it back home and just happens to visit Eumaeus. Eumaeus has to leave, so Athena's like, "Yo, I'm gonna change you back now, so tell your son everything." And so there's this beautiful father and son moment. They discuss about how to kill the suitors and split up, and Odysseus changes back to his disguise. Eumaeus then takes Odysseus to the palace, and Odysseus sees Argos, his old guard dog, dying in the dirt. He can't do anything, and there's this whole heartbreaking moment, and then Athena finally takes Argos with her. From the moment Odysseus enters, the suitors abuse him verbally and physically, like throwing chairs at him. Odysseus has to fight Iris just to get food, but wins. Important lesson of the day. Now remember, children, always respect the elderly because you never know if they're secretly buff. Odysseus then goes to Penelope that night and tells her about Odysseus. Euryclea, a woman who raised Odysseus, washes Odysseus' feet, but she recognizes the scar he got long ago and says, "OMG!" But then Odysseus says to be quiet, and she tells him she will list the maids who have been unfaithful. The next day, Penelope says that whoever can string Odysseus' old bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads can marry her. All the suitors try and fail, but when Odysseus is given the bow, he strings it and shoots through the 12 axe heads. A lightning bolt strikes down, and Odysseus returns to his regular form. Then he starts killing all the suitors. Wait, this is another motif: crime and punishment. Okay, let's get back to the killing.
北斗、百裂剣。貴様の拳などかほどにも効かんわい。お前はもう死んでいる。何？もうは匠でひぜぶ。
Afterwards, Penelope says to Odysseus that she'll move Odysseus' bed, but he says that she shouldn't move it because he made it himself from an olive tree, and tells her all about it. She then knows it really is Odysseus, and they're happily united. But that's not the end of our hero's journey. Why couldn't they just end this? Hush, child, it doesn't matter. Odysseus visits his father, but then the family of the suitors Odysseus killed goes to Odysseus to get revenge. Athena then gives Odysseus' father strength, and he throws a spear, but then Athena stops the fighting. She tells the men to get along, and then they live happily ever after.